And when you're in a situation where you're thinking about what you're going to do, as opposed to just doing it, that split second is when you're in trouble. And that's what I think with De Gea, when he was trying to play out from the back, he's been told to play out from the back, and now he's thinking, well, I've got to play out from the back, where it wasn't... Things come natural when you're on top of your game. And I think that perhaps the Man United players are thinking a little bit too much about what we're supposed to be doing instead of just letting it happen, because they're under pressure.
Intuition, effectively.
Yeah, it's just, as you say, that as midfield players, as the ball's come to you, you invariably know what you're going to do with it. I think the Man United players at the moment are having a touch, then deciding what they're going to do with it, because they're not confident enough. Yeah. They're not aware of what's going to be the next part of the move.
Yeah, it's split-second decisions, isn't it? And I think in football over the years, but certainly in the modern game, it has to be a lot more instinctive. And I think Alan's right. The minute you've got to think what you're going to do, as opposed to just doing it, it's too late.
All right, without me thinking about it, we're going to go for the commercial break really, really quickly. There are, of course, protests outside the stadium. I'm sure you've seen pictures and videos and social media. Here it is, and it is a sizable crowd as well, voicing their displeasure with the ownership and all the issues that surround that. When we come back, we'll discuss Liverpool. Stay tuned.
We love to compare everything we have, from smartphone and comparing cars. By the way, you can now compare and choose the best car insurance plan with Compare by MyEG. You can also pay with MyDC by MyEG. Our blockchain reward system for the best rates and rebates, or use the Renew Now, Pay Later option. Compare by MyEG, bringing the best car insurance to you.
And now for a limited time only, renew on Compare and get a special edition NFT.
Johan, look! I just bought this. Do you like it? Johan, give mommy a massage, please. Johan, I'm talking to you. Are you even listening? Pencil, Johan. Johan. Focus. Focus. Please. Johan, please.
Stay strong, bro. Stay strong.
Wonder Extra Presso, brewed from premium Arabica coffee beans for a stronger coffee taste.
Wonder Coffee. We love to compare everything we have, from smartphone and comparing cars. By the way, you can now compare and choose the best car insurance plan with Compare by MyEG. You can also pay with MyDC by MyEG. Our blockchain reward system for the best rates and rebates, or use the Renew Now, Pay Later option. Compare by MyEG, bringing the best car insurance to you.
And now for a limited time only, renew on Compare and get a special edition NFT.
Manchester United fans will be disappointed with their team, and so would Liverpool fans, having started the campaign with back-to-back draws. We're really looking to kickstart their season today, particularly having seen Manchester City drop 2 points yesterday at St James's Park. But one area of potential concern for Liverpool, and this dates back to the tail end of last season as well, is when they're conceding goals in games. They're conceding first in matches, which is slightly unusual. Just looking at this here, we can see what minute they conceded, and oddly enough, it was in the 32nd minute of both of their league matches so far this season, and we can see how quickly they equalised after, as short as 3 minutes, as high as 32. You could say this is injuries, Jody, but this does hark back to last season as well. It's not just this season.
No, and I have to say, although I view this Liverpool team as one of the greatest to ever have played in the Premier League, I have to say they are a team that have given up quite a lot of chances over the last 4 or 5 years. They're not just never being tested, and unfortunately for them, people have been taking their chances. Yes, the fact that there's 2 at the beginning of the season here, 2 not great results, and especially the Fulham game. I thought Fulham were outstanding and absolutely deserved the result that they got. But you have to say, when you're a top team like Liverpool, the amount of times on that graphic as well, the amount of times that they're then hitting right back, and a lot of the time coming out winners, especially at the end of last season. That's what top teams do.
Well, you know, when I was managing, there was a massive stat out there that if you scored first, you invariably got something from the game. And so a little bit of credit to Liverpool. They haven't scored first, but they've still come back. But that first goal is vitally important in the Premier League, and especially tonight. Who scores the first goal tonight is going to be massive.
Yeah, in fairness, they haven't actually lost this plan of the year in the Premier League either, Gary. We have to go back to last year for that.
Yeah, no, and I do think that there are trends that come into the game for any given team at certain times in a season where, you know, you keep conceding from a corner, for example. You know, you concede the first goal. You know, you score first, but you can't hang on to the lead. And I just think this is a bit of a, you know, just a little phase that Liverpool are going through. They're far too good for this to continue, and I'm expecting Liverpool to get back on track and back on winning ways.
We'll pick up on the Liverpool comments in just a moment, because slightly unusually for a pre-show, we're going to have an unveiling. The last time I did this was Rafael Varane about a year ago at Manchester United. So Casemiro is due to about to step onto the pitch to greet the Old Trafford faithful. Just a quick comment on him. We'll discuss him during the post-show. Is he a solution, a potential solution for Manchester United in all the woes they've had in midfield the last couple of seasons, at least?
I think they'll improve with him. He's got great experience and performed at the highest level. And
well, we said the same about Varane last year.
Yeah, very true. Good point. Is he the one that's going to take him to get him out of maybe this little rut that we're in? I don't know. Do I think that they will help protect it, which is a bit of a leaky, fragile defence? Yes, I do. Is he worth 70 million quid? I'm not sure.
They've gone through some midfield players over the last couple of years, haven't they? I mean, Fred, you know, Matic, this one, that one, Van der Beek. I mean, there's so many players at that club. There must be a clear out at some stage, because the manager can't cope with all them players. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of protests going to be going on about the Glazers. I'm probably going to infuriate a lot of Man United fans, but I think they've spent a lot of money. I don't think they've been shy. They've gone for the best managers, Van Gaal, Mourinho, etc., etc. And I think their net spend is massive. They've just got it wrong. You know, previous managers, whoever's doing the recruitment, have got it wrong, because the players they're bringing in are not staying in. Talk about Varane, even. He's now coming back because Harry Maguire's had such a bad time. Wan-Bissaka, 50 million, this one, that one. So I think the Glazers have backed the managers in terms of finances. I'm not too sure if they've backed them in terms of being hands-on owners that understand football. You know, they're doing it all from America. But I think financially, they'll be up there in the top 3 in terms of spending.
I would stay off Twitter for the next few days.
I don't go on it.
Don't search your name.
No one's going to get me.
No. Anyway, we digress. We're supposed to be talking about Liverpool. We'll mention more about Casemiro once the match is done. I have to talk Mo Salah, Gary. His record is phenomenal, and I cannot believe this. Since Project Restart, since that commenced, Mo Salah is the 8th highest scorer at Old Trafford. Again, he's a Liverpool player at Old Trafford, the 8th highest scorer in the last 2 and a bit years.
Yeah, I think he's scored 9 goals now, hasn't he, against Manchester United. Scores tonight and he's into double figures. You know, nobody's scored that sort of number of goals ever in their career against Manchester United. What more can we say about Mo Salah? You know, he's got the lot, hasn't he? You know, he's pacey, he's direct, he finishes well. There aren't enough superlatives to use. In my opinion, an exceptional player that Liverpool have got the best out of.
Chelsea days, you played against Liverpool. I mean, how did you try to set up against Mo Salah when you were with Frank Lampard and getting ready against a Klopp side led by Mo Salah?
You try and limit the amount of supply that he got, which is difficult in itself, because when you have someone that's so quick, if you are trying to limit the supply, that usually means trying to put a bit of pressure on the ball before it gets to him, which means that you're invariably trying to get up the pitch, which then leaves room. And we all know that Liverpool are not shy in putting the ball over the top, and it's been one of their greatest attributes over the years, that they're not frightened of going back to front and catching teams unawares with a pace. But I'm with Gary. I mean, Mo Salah. I mean, first and foremost, I cannot believe that stat, that he's the 8th highest goal scorer. These rivals, huge rivals. Imagine being a Man United fan and hearing that on the show right now. I mean, that absolutely takes some beating. But yeah, Mo Salah, an absolutely, truly world-class player, and great business from Liverpool keeping him at the club.
Yeah. It's also going to be under a little bit more pressure today, perhaps, Alan, because Darwin Núñez isn't involved.
And Jota.
And Jota as well.
I think they've all got, both teams have had their problems in terms of team selection. This is not by far Liverpool's strongest team. And we don't know yet if this is Man United's strongest team. But, yeah, there's a lot of talk about Man United. But let's flip it on Liverpool, because they're not firing on all cylinders. But this is a game that could just turn it all around, because we know how important it is. But they've got to start scoring again. And what Jodie's saying, the threat of Salah, the threat of Diaz. I mean, when he came in last year, I thought every right-back's looking at him thinking, blimey, what am I up against here? The pace and everything else about him. So, I think for Liverpool to get back on track, they need these front three to start creating and scoring.
Well, if Diaz can perform or score a goal like he did in the last game, I mean, that was absolutely outrageous, an individual piece of brilliance. I'm with Alan. I think he's a great player, and I think that he'll score again tonight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there.
Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, of course. Can I just double-check, what was your prediction for the Leeds-Chelsea?
Third time lucky.
Third time's a charm, as they like to say. Gary, I mean, when you look at the side, Diaz, of course, we know what he's been able to bring to the side, but defensively, Liverpool, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been criticised more and more recently for his defensive capabilities. We know what he can do going forward.
I think the truth is that when you've hit the heights that Liverpool have tended to hit in recent seasons, I know they've only won the Premier League once in the last 5 years, and City have won it 4 times. But I think when your standards are that high, when you are playing that well, when Salah's scoring goals for fun, the minute that changes a little bit, people jump on it. OK, so this season, Liverpool aren't scoring enough goals. They've actually scored 3 goals in 2 games. So that's enough to win games, it is. The problem is they've also conceded 3 goals in 2 games. So it's about what a team does at both ends of the park, in both boxes. And Liverpool haven't been quite as good so far this season. Only played 2 games, by the way. Haven't been quite as good at scoring goals this season, and they haven't been quite so defensively solid.
You're sitting right in the middle there. It's like glass is half empty and half full at the same time for you, Gary.
well, exactly. That's what it is, because they played 2 and drawn 2.
Yeah.
And so you could argue that is exactly the case.
Well, the players are in the tunnel right now, so I have to go to a very, very quick commercial break. But when we return, it's going to be kick-off at Old Trafford between these old rivals. So, who's going to have the better 90 minutes? We'll get more predictions from the guys in the studio and the match itself in a minute or 2. Stay tuned.
Johan, look, I just bought this. Do you like it? Johan, give mommy a massage, please. Johan, I'm talking to you. Are you even listening? Pencil, Johan. Johan. Focus. Please, focus. Johan, please.
Stay strong, bro. Stay strong.
Wonder Extra Presso, brewed from premium Arabica coffee beans for a stronger coffee taste.
Wonder Coffee. Daily exposure to external environment causes accumulated dull and damaged skin. Nivea Super Tan Lotion combines multivitamins and niacinamide, 100 times repairing power to deeply repair dull and damaged skin for radiant and youthful skin in 7 days.
This broadcast of the Premier League is brought to you by Wonder Coffee. Tastes like just brewed. MyEG, Malaysia's e-government service provider.
Less than 2 minutes to kick off. I mean, you've already given your prediction for goal scorer, Jody. You're going to give me an exact scoreline now?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool win.
2-0 Liverpool win. Luis Diaz to score 1?
Yeah, just the one. Maybe Salah for the second.
Second, OK.
I'm right going for it. Double down.
Double down, there you go. Why not?
I'm going exactly the same as Jody. I'm not too sure about the goal scorers, but I'm going 2-0 for Liverpool.
Gary?
I'm going to go for Liverpool to win, but I'm going 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. OK, you're going for Liverpool win. I think they would be the favourites for this. But for Manchester United fans, even if they were to lose, surely what they want to see is just a better performance, full stop.
I think if you are a Man United player, this is the exact game that you'd want, because one, your fans are going to be absolutely right up for it, and two, it's one of your biggest rivals. So if there's any way that you are going to get a turnaround in your season, it's by performing against one of your biggest rivals.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose the only other team that they would have there is Man City at the moment, you know, because of the rivalry there. But this, over the years, has been the game. That's why everyone's watching it around the world.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. That's why we're doing this game at 3 a.m. in the morning. But let me go back very quickly, a rivalry. Jody, I look at Chelsea and, you know, they were OK against Everton, they were poor against Leeds, but against Spurs, their rivals, they just stepped it up. Even though they're players who didn't grow up in Chelsea, didn't grow up in London, but they seem to understand. What is it about these fierce rivalries with players that sparks it to life?
I think a lot of the time it's the build-up. You see there's extra focus, extra press attention, extra media attention.
They feel it.
Yeah, and even on match days, you know, on the way to the stadium, the atmosphere, it sets the tone, and I think there's only one way to react.
OK, well, it looks like we're ready for kick-off. Let's pass you straight over to your commentary team of Andy Townsend, who's alongside Conor McNamara.
Two giant clubs who have each endured a slow burn start to this new campaign. You have to go back to the early 80s for the last time Manchester United and Liverpool were both without a league win after their opening 2 games of a new league season. Back in that 1981-82 season, both clubs did rebound after their poor starts. Liverpool went on to win the league title that year. Manchester United finished 3rd. And in the 92-93 season, Manchester United began with 2 defeats in a row. They recovered that year to win the league. It is notoriously, this Premier League, a marathon and not a sprint. To the first heavy challenge, Lisandro Martinez has a nibble of Mo Salah.
Yep, he did, yep. No problem for Mo Salah. Would have expected that so early on. This game has never been short of commitment and passion and tackles flying in. You'd be disappointed if this one is any different.
Lisandro Martinez, who played against Liverpool twice in his Ajax days, lost both of those games. Bruno Fernandes, who scored against Liverpool the last time Manchester United beat them. That was in the FA Cup 2 seasons ago. He also scored against Liverpool in the league that year. Here is Luis Diaz, hoping that the last touch came off the defender. However, it will be a goal kick.
Interesting teams, Conor, as you mentioned. Yep, Erik ten Hag has decided he wants to flood this team with bags of energy. And so those younger players have got to play without fear, but they've got to play sensibly, but they have to pose a threat, cause problems for Liverpool at the top of the field to really get everybody in the stadium behind them. The worst thing that can happen tonight is a sluggish, tentative Manchester United start that allows Liverpool to settle into the game and maybe go in front. It's going to be very difficult for United if that happens.
Diaz wins it back off Sancho. Here is Varane. Erik ten Hag's first match of pre-season as Manchester United manager was against Liverpool. It was a friendly in Bangkok, and Manchester United won by 4 goals to 0.
They'll settle for another one of them.
That was a friendly. This is the real thing. Joe Gomez. 44 times he has started alongside Van Dijk, just 4 defeats when they begin a match together for Liverpool. Diaz holds off the attempted challenges on him from Diogo Dalot. Elliott cut on the ball by Elanga. Challenges flying in at Old Trafford, as you would expect. Jordan Henderson back in the team, unbeaten in his last 12 appearances against Manchester United. This fiery start to the game has fired up the atmosphere of the crowd. Now, a chance for Rashford. His pace against Van Dijk. Excellent recovery from the Dutchman. First test, really, for the Liverpool defence.
Great challenge, wasn't it? Clawed the distance back there, Virgil van Dijk, to smother that shot from Marcus Rashford. Great little ball round the corner to find him.
Van Dijk had a yard or two to make up, but he ate the ground. Here is Elanga. Challenged by Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's going to be a fascinating battle between those two this evening. Eriksen. So far this season, Christian Eriksen has covered the most distance of all Manchester United players. He's worked harder than any of his teammates. Sancho.
He's in there with Scott McTominay tonight. Against Brentford, he was in this kind of deeper position. It didn't work particularly well for him. He's always better when he's looking forward further up the field, Christian Eriksen, there's no doubt. But early on in a game like this, vital United, as I mentioned earlier, don't concede too much ground and give Liverpool a chance to find their rhythm, to find Mo Salah and Luis Diaz and start combining up front.
As long-running rivalries go, this is one of the biggest in all of sport. Manchester United's 20 league titles still being chased down by Liverpool on 19. Robertson with a clever pass into Firmino. This is Milner, strong turn. Sliding across was Varane, who's got to be careful in the box. Liverpool appeal for a push. Goal kick for Manchester United.
He's running away from goal there, James Milner. So once you're sending someone away from goal, he rides that first challenge. Once he then goes after the ball there, it's Varane it is that leans on him. He goes down a little too easily. Just be careful. Two hands on him, you know.
The mood is one of anxious expectancy at Old Trafford. There is Harry Maguire, named by Erik ten Hag that he would be continuing as club captain in the summer, but sitting on the bench tonight.
Yeah, look, he's got to rediscover his form, find his confidence, get his game back going. This isn't the sort of night to carry anybody or to have anyone that's a bit brittle. United's situation so early in the season it's very important they get something there. They need to put something on the board after tonight.
Second time there that Jadon Sancho attacked Trent Alexander-Arnold. Second time that Alexander-Arnold was able to stop him. The win probability, as you'd expect, in Liverpool's favour, particularly with Manchester United's back-to-back defeats. Here is Rashford, down he goes. The challenge began outside the penalty area. Marcus Rashford, whose pace has been preferred to Ronaldo in attack, and he's trying to unsettle these Liverpool defenders.
Yep, good appetite to go after that. Challenges initially with Trent Alexander-Arnold, the shoulder charge is a strong one, and then the Liverpool man just wildly and unnecessarily, for me, throwing his right leg out and just tripping Rashford. Chance this.
Options galore for Christian Eriksen. Lisandro Martinez joining the attack, looking for his first goal for his new club. Eriksen has a crack himself, and the wall puts it out for a corner.
So used to seeing Ronaldo, aren't we, taking free kicks, but look, this guy can do it. Make no mistake, he's more than capable.